because that's a great strategy to build your business, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we've often spoken about that.
I think for many is probably the first step is to actually get your head around the benefits of having a business partner.
Yeah, why would you have one?
And because many don't.
No.
Many have heard a story about their uncle's, auntie's,
Yes,
goldfish's
horror
cousin
Yes.
that has had a bad experience,
Yeah.
and I'd never have a business partner, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't even get to the step of looking for a business partner because they've heard horror stories, hand-me-down, second-hand, third-hand, fourth-hand horror stories, which puts them off. But I have found it as, for me, it's an essential part of my strategy in business, and I guess I leverage off people and their ideas significantly because I recognise that I can do a lot more with the help of others than I can do on my own.
I guess there's a few things that preface this before you even think about it is, what are your goals? What are your plans for the business? So you absolutely need to determine, well, where do I want to take the business? And do a skills check. What am I capable of doing? What am I capable of learning? And is it right for me to do these things? And so is a business partner going to fill any of those gaps?
Well, it's a great point, because a lot of people out there aren't looking to grow their business. They're looking to go, I just want to have it at this little size quietly, or either in their mind or in a whisper verbally. They might talk about that they would like to have more money or more something that would buy more money to buy them something or help someone or whatever it might be, but they don't want their business to be any bigger. No. And so, as you rightly say, what are your goals? Are you looking to grow your business? If you're not, you should be. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you should be. You must be growing. You should always be in growth mode in your business. You should always be looking to extend your business, grow your business, because if you're not, it's being eroded. Whether you know it or not, whether you're noticing it or not, your business is being eroded if you're not growing. So you need to be growing all the time in your business. Then you need to go, okay, well, the best way to grow that I know of is to do that with a partner in your business, to bring in additional resource, both mentally and financially, and bring in those extra hours into the business, and with a similar, maybe exactly the same, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but commitment to a similar level to what you have in the business, which is kind of do or die, make it happen, and that's very difficult to get as an employee, and perhaps I don't think you should really be expecting that as an employee, of employees. Why should they be do or die in your business? Yes, exactly. So having a partner, an additional shareholder, perhaps someone additionally in the business directly is a good way to go. So then once you get through to that point, then what are you looking for?
Well, you want, as you just mentioned, aligned values and goals. But why do they want to come in? Why are they there just to get a return on investment? But are they there because they genuinely believe in the business?
The business model, the customer. The business model, the customer. Do they believe in the marketplace and the opportunity, and want to make a difference in that space, regardless of what their particular skill set is, even perhaps regardless of what their experience is somewhat, but do they have the vision for the business and have the same level of commitment? Because the vision and the commitment, definitely starting point.
Oh, absolutely. And what you got to be careful of is like, we knew each other before we went into business, but we absolutely recognised we had different skill sets, we have different ways of thinking about things, and so therefore that was a great formula for Navigate. So don't think it has to be someone who's a replica of you, a little clone of you, because you potentially is not filling any gaps. You might have someone wholly committed, but they're not filling the gaps that you've identified in the business. But if you can fill the gaps, broaden the skill set, and take the burden of doing business on your own. That's hard. Like, business is never going to be super easy, but if you can level the dips and the troughs that are in your business by having somebody, you want to go and take some time off, you want to go and do things, you've got somebody who's there to pick up the reins for you and spread the burden.
And actually get the extra effort and workload in when times are good and when times are tough. When things pull back, and it takes all hands to the wheel to make sure that you're doing the business, generating revenue, getting some profitability, looking for new customers, looking for new markets. What's better than one person doing that? Two people. What's better than one business owner committed and maybe doing stuff without drawing a wage? Two people doing that, and that's so that's really important from that aspect, from a commitment aspect. But then once you start to get to a strategy aspect, or developing a strategy, should I say, that's where I think really you get a great deal of benefit as well, because you're starting to bring more ideas to the table. So preferably you are, your business partner or business partners from different experiences, perhaps even different walks of life, different skill sets. So they're bringing more ideas into the pot, and then you can throw it all in, and then start to chuck out the ones, really filter down to, discard what's maybe not so great, and then really refine down to this really high concentrate strategy that becomes really difficult to do, or not as good with one person doing that.
No, and it's always good to have another set of eyes. And this person will potentially bring in different, expanding networks, databases, people they know, people that that you can connect your business to. And what if they're bringing in products and services as well? Like, they might already have a business that's really complementary to yours. So it's just this exponential multiplier of your business. And as long as all these values, why you exist, what you're looking to achieve is aligned, and you've got somebody that can give you a different perspective, that can only be a winning formula, right? Yeah,
absolutely. I think the more you can get in there, like say, this conversation doesn't need to be about having one business partner.
No.
It could be multiple. And hey, I guess I've done business all sorts of different ways, and for me, it has been a core strategy in the last probably 15 years is making sure that I am in partnership with other people that now really I'm supporting their vision in many cases, but certainly if you're a business and you're looking to find that extra bit of potential, or that extra as you say, find the extra momentum in your business is by bringing additional partners in, more resource mentally, in terms of time. And also the other thing is a really important resource too is accountability.
Hold each other accountable.
Talking about strategy, people get very excited in year one around building a strategy for the business, and then by the time year 5, year 7, year 10 comes around, you start to get pretty blasé around strategy, like I know what I'm doing, I run this for however long, and you don't think much about that, and you don't give it much time. Whereas when there's more of you in the business, you make the time to work on the strategy, keep refreshing, refresh sales plans, refresh marketing plans, product lines, all of that stuff. You can bounce those ideas off and create action points and keep each other accountable.
And so what's really important is to make sure, as you're having this conversation to bring a partner in, really think about who's going to do what, because you've got to be very clear that you might have some common tasks or activities within the business, but this person's coming in to bring the experience, bring the accountability, bring the skills. So really be clear, because when you don't, it's a bit like a code of practice. It's a bit like how is this thing going to physically function? Be really clear who's going to do what, so that there's none of this disconnect and the communication lines kept open. It's such an important piece, and I know we did that. We spoke about, what's our skill sets, who can do what within the business, who's going to do how are we going to collaborate together, but what are we specifically going to do as an individual contributor to the business?
Yep.
It's just so important to, it's almost about writing a position description for each of you.
Oh, I would say it absolutely is.
Yeah.
I think, having a position description there, and I think something that is often lost is that when you're in business, you don't need to have, just because you've got 50% shareholders or 33% shareholders or 424, whatever it is, doesn't mean that everyone's got to have an equal position in the business.
Yeah.
Shareholding versus your job description are quite different.
Yeah.
Okay? Just because your super fund's got a shareholding in BHP or Rio Tinto does not mean that as you're a shareholder, and it does not mean that you're in there talking to the CEO every day and working through, or you're a co-CEO. And it's the same and still in a small private business. Just because there's 50% shareholders doesn't mean that you've got to have the same size desks next to each other in the same part of the building and all the rest of it. No, actually, what job are you doing in the business? Are you better? Are you better as a front of house person and you're better in the kitchen? Are you, there's totally different roles. Are you better as a pricer and estimator and you're better out on the tools on the job? What those things, and those jobs attract different remuneration.
Exactly.
They attract different remuneration. Just so I think a really important point is you can be paid for the job that you do in the business. Then you want to create profitability in the business, and from that profitability you can create distributions to the shareholders. Those distributions are around the shareholding that you own, and if you've got the same shareholding, then you get the same level of distribution there.
Exactly.
But the shareholder distributions and salary, very different things.
Two different things. Yeah, really good point. So there's lots of things to think about here. Now, for those of you who want to really dive into it, we've got Biz Bootcamp starting on the 8th of July. We'll be covering so many parts of the business and giving you the chance to really take control of the business. So 8th of July, spot's still available. For those of you who missed the tutorial last week, it was great. And if you need it, you can send me an email, joanne@navigatebiz.com, and I'm happy to share with you the recording.
That was the end of financial year, or how to prepare for the end of financial year tutorial. If you missed it, make sure you jump back in and grab that, because we're only a month away from the end of financial year. So you've got to only a very few days left to be able to make the adjustments, or perhaps the extra expenses, or whatever adjustments need to be that in your planning to make sure that you're being as effective as you possibly can from a tax perspective specifically. So finally, like and subscribe on YouTube. So jump in there. The link is there. If you're watching it, you can go find us. Please like and subscribe. You'll get all the notifications of the lives going forward. But other than that, we'll see you later in the week. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to jump in, catch us on social media on all of the platforms @NavigateBiz. Have a great week. See you.